Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Gridiron Recap, our Pigskin Pick'em Challenge, here with our ace expert, Armand Medeo. I'm your host, Jersey Joe Archino, and we're not going to waste any time. We're going to just feed him all the games, and he's going to spit it back out who's going to win this weekend for us. Armand, starting off, we got the Vikings going on the road and playing the Detroit Lions. To say the Lions have been a disappointment this season is an understatement. Who wins here?
I like Detroit. I think they're going to have some momentum riding after that Chicago Bear victory. And, Matthew Stafford looked like the old Matthew Stafford last week. And him and Calvin Johnson, they looked like the old dynamic duo that they were. And, Minnesota, they kind of had a really slow start. I mean, a great start against Kansas City. In the first quarter, Bridgewater had like 120 yards, and he only finished with like 200. I don't know if you saw that, but...
Yes.
And I think I like Detroit here. I mean, Adrian Peterson had a hard time establishing the run last week, and, their offense is a little bit inconsistent. Minnesota might have a better defense, but I like Detroit at home.
Interesting. Will the dynamic duo return? We go into the next game being played in London between...
Wait, who'd you pick?
Oh, you want me to give... I was just going to... You're our ace. So I was just going to go and
right,
get your picks.
Okay.
But, if I did have to pick the game, I'd probably go with the Lions, too, although I don't have much faith in them right now as it is as well. But we go to the London game, the Bills and the Jaguars, this game being streamed on Yahoo Sports. First, going to be interesting to see. I have a feeling with all the people logging in, it might have a couple kinks and technical errors. But, Armand, we will see if on the field there are no technical errors. Who wins this one?
I like Buffalo.
On the road, again, in England. Interesting.
I mean, Buffalo has a lot to prove. Their defense has kind of been a little bit disappointing this year.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially from a fantasy value. I mean, they were supposed to be one of the top fantasy defenses when it comes to turnovers and everything. And just even sacks, they have a great front four who just hasn't been getting to the quarterback. And Blake Bortles is going to have a hectic game because Rex Ryan and his boys are going to have a lot to prove here on the road. McCoy's going to have a big game. Jacksonville can't stop the run.
Those London games are always interesting, but our
They are.
ace is going with the Bills. We go into the next one, the Buccaneers going on the road against the Redskins. Is this another big moment for Jameis Winston in his young career?
I think so. I think Washington has one of the most underrated defenses in the league, especially at home. I mean, they force a lot of turnovers. They've been in a lot of close games against very good teams. And this is going to be a good test for Jameis in Washington. I think this is actually one of the best games on the ticketer this week, believe it or not. I think it's going to come down to the final minutes of the game. And I'm going to go with Washington. I think so. Unfortunately, I think Jameis is going to have a late turnover.
Down to the wire, home team winning. That's what the ace says. What will the ace pick, though, when the Falcons go on the road to take on a very banged-up Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans?
Is Marcus even playing? I thought
At this
Zach
point right now, I
was.
believe he's out 2 to 4 weeks, so no, I don't believe so.
This is not going to even be a matchup. This is going to be a blowout, Jersey Joe.
I'm with you on that one, our ace. I don't think there's much hope here for the
I
Tennessee
actually
Titans.
like the name Ace. Can you call me Ace on a regular basis now?
Hey, you want to be ace? You're ace. All right, ace, let's
That's my
set it
nickname.
up. I set him up, you knock him down. Saints going on the road against the Colts. The Colts last weekend, obviously, against the Patriots, didn't really go their way. Do they bounce back and get a win against the Saints at home?
Honestly, I don't know why I'm going to say this because the Saints are probably one of the poorest teams ever to play on the road, and you should never pick them on the road. But I'm going to pick the New Orleans Saints here.
Gut feeling, ace.
I have a gut feeling, Joe. Feeling real good.
Hey, when the ace has got a gut feeling.
I'll tell you this,
You go
though.
with
It's going to be a crazy game with no defense.
Oh, I could not say that anymore. I think these teams are not going to have much.
If you play
much less-
FanDuel or DraftKings, have every player. You have T.Y. Hilton, Moncrief, Brandon Cooks, everybody. Just start them.
Now, I think this next one is a very interesting matchup. The Steelers going on the road and playing the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have been one of the more disappointing teams so far in the NFL. The Steelers really getting by without Ben Roethlisberger, winning these big games against the Cardinals, against the Chargers. Can Pittsburgh pick up another huge road win?
I think so, only because Kansas City is probably one of the most banged up teams when it comes to their players just not being on the field. I mean, you have no Jamal Charles who's out, and Jeremy Maclin might not pass the concussion protocol to play this week. So with that being said, Travis Kelce is going to be their only option, and Pittsburgh will lock into that. I think Landry Jones actually played pretty good when he came in for Michael Vick last week. I mean, Michael Vick wasn't playing that good for the couple weeks that he was starting anyway. So I like Pittsburgh here. I do.
Interesting. we will move on to the Texans and the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins clearly have a little bit more life in them after the coaching switch, picking up a big road win against the Titans. Armand, can they continue it and win at home now against the Texans?
Absolutely, Jersey Joe. You're talking about the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are just amazing after last week's win. I mean, they're back to their old self now. They're not, though. But honestly, their defense is definitely back, though. Their offense still is pretty bad. Very bad for Ryan Tannehill. But defensively, Cameron Wake looked like the superstar that he was in the recent years. He had 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, AFC Player of the Week. Rashad Jones had a pick 6. These are my boys. They're back. And, they're going to play Houston. They're going to beat Houston.
Hey, you heard it from Ace himself. Those are his boys. If you don't pick them, you're just doing something wrong. We will continue one of the biggest games of the weekend. The New York Jets, the red-hot New York Jets, going on the road and playing their eternal rivals, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Armand, I know there's a lot of New Yorkers out there who are hoping for some positives here. Are you expecting any positives on the Jets front?
I don't think so, Joe. I hate to say it, but I think New England's... First of all, the Jets have been in way too many close games, and I just feel like New England, after the way they played against Indianapolis, they could have ran away with that last week. I just feel like Tom Brady is just going to... You know how both of these teams hate each other.
Absolutely.
I just feel like Tom Brady's just going to light up the stat sheet, and the Jets are going to finally get exposed. Show their true colors.
I haven't picked many games here, but I'm with you. I think New England is going to have a big day. I think they're the best team of football. It's not even really very close right now.
It's like them in 07.
Basically.
Before they met the Giants.
Ooh. Well, we will get to the Giants in a minute because the 4 o'clock games are right here. We'll start with the Chargers game, though. Chargers and Raiders. Armand, Phillip Rivers has been phenomenal this season. The rest of his team, not so much. They are home here against a very good Raiders team, though. Can they get the win?
I think so. Phillip Rivers reminds me of Danny Boy. And I mean Dan Marino. No, I'm just playing. But Phillip Rivers has been the best quarterback this year. I think so. Every time I watch this guy play, he moves the ball down the field so effortlessly, and he doesn't turn over the ball. I mean,
he does not.
In past, though, he has.
You know, the funny thing is when the offensive line was deteriorating around him, that's when we saw all these turnover problems. The offensive line is still not great by any means, but it's better, and you're seeing how big of a difference that makes for Phillip Rivers.
It's amazing, too, because Phillip Rivers is throwing the ball a lot, and he's not turning over the ball. He's throwing at least 50 attempts a game.
Very awkward mechanics, but you know what?
Hey, gets the job done,
It gets the job done, and Armand, our ace, believes the Chargers will get the job done. Will the New York Football Giants get the job done, though? Huge game. Maybe the biggest and most important game of their season so far against the Dallas Cowboys at home. It did not go too well for them the first time they played. Armand, will the results be different the second time?
I think the results will be different the second time because Brandon Whedon's the starting quarterback, not Tony Romo.
I believe Matt Castle's actually getting the start, though, this
Matt
weekend.
Castle is?
I think they're making the switch, yes.
Ooh. Now you put me on the spot. Now I got to think about it. Actually, I want to hear your opinion on this one. I hate picking the Giants and Cowboys. I hate it.
It's a very difficult rivalry to pick. I didn't think that they would win their next 2 games. I thought they would lose the game on the road against Philadelphia. It'd be a little bit of a wake-up call, and then they'd come back for the Dallas game. They'd be brighter. They'd be a little bit more focused. I do have them winning here. I think it'll be a close game, closer than some people think with the Cowboys' injuries and everything like that. But I think that was kind of the road game they needed to be a wake-up call before this gigantic one. I think it was good timing. Sometimes a loss like that can be good for them. I think it was the wake-up call they needed, and they'll get the win this weekend.
What's funny about my philosophy when these two teams play, I always pick the road team because they always usually split.
Very true.
And I always pick the road team for some reason. They always get the job done. But I'm not going to pick Dallas in this situation. I like the Giants. They played horrible. They had a great first possession. They just went all downhill last week. So Tom Coughlin, they're going to make adjustments. I feel like their job's on the line here after that horrible game on Monday Night Football against the Eagles.
Absolutely.
So they're going to have to make a statement. And, the Giants are going to win,
Well, Ace always makes a statement every time he makes a prediction. We'll see what his next statement will be as we go to Sunday Night Football. The Eagles going on the road to play the Carolina Panthers, who at 5-0 right now might be one of the most impressive teams in football. Armand, do they move to 6-0?
Absolutely. Carolina Panthers are the best team in football right now, especially in the NFC. I don't know about the best team in football, but definitely the best team in the NFC. I love the way Carolina plays. Cam Newton is on another level. He's finally showing that he's Killer Cam. Prime time. And I like Carolina in this one. Philadelphia is probably one of the more overrated teams in the NFL. Whenever they play, it's like, how is this team supposed to be this good on paper? I just don't see it. And Carolina, I don't see them taking any steps back.
When Killicam's got Ace backing him up, there's not much you could do. I think you go with the Panthers here. You go to the final game, the Monday night one, the Baltimore Ravens going on the road to play the Arizona Cardinals. Right now, the Ravens, it's been the most difficult season so far of Harbaugh's tutelage there. The Arizona Cardinals losing a tough one on the road. So, Armand, both these teams right now really need a win. Arizona is home. Does that mean they win?
Absolutely, Joe. You hit the nail right in the head.
Right on the head, Ace?
Right in the head, Joe. No, statistically this year, Baltimore is the worst team against the pass. And, Carson Palmer's been very good this year.
He has.
Very good.
He's
under
been
the radar.
Better than I thought he would be, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And they have an okay run game. They have a great defense. This team is pretty balanced. And Baltimore is just in disarray. You got to go with those Arizona Redbirds.
I got to say, you heard it from the man himself, our ace, Armand Madeo, breaking down all of our games. We will see how you do, Ace. We'll be back here, same time, same place. I'm sure it'll work out because, again, your name's Ace. You should switch that to Twitter.
And you're the man, the myth, the legend, the host with the most.
I am the host with the most. You're the man, the myth, the legend, Ace. Ace Armand Madeo.
Hey, it's Ace Ventura. Get
Ace
it right.
Ventura. My bad. Well, you heard it from Ace Ventura himself. We will be back next time, breaking it all down. But
I
everybody,
am the WICR detective.
you heard him. He said it.